Ladies and gentlemen, how are you back for this Tuesday night? It's good to be here for the latest show on YouTube. That's what I'm calling it. I'm calling it the latest true crime show. It's not during the day, it's not during the evening, it's very late at night for most of you. Good to see you all. I don't know why. I think a reminder did not go out. I don't know why. Some nights it does that, some nights it doesn't. Seems to just want to do its own thing. But as you see in the title, a woman hires a man met on Tinder to kill a cop. So we're going to talk about that. Um, yeah, it's good to see you guys. Hey, retired Ren, Wendy, Kathy's here, Marilyn Landis, Lindy. Hey, sweetheart, good to see you. Joe Neal is here, and I hate mornings. We got a lot to talk about, including I can tell you if you are following the Erin Patterson thing. I can tell you a little bit of new information, nothing, drastic, but I can tell you that last week, and I don't know why we didn't bring it up last week, but last week her representatives and her were in the Supreme Court in Melbourne against the DPP, which the DPP is the Department of Public Prosecutions. What was going on there? I have no idea. Or if I do have an idea, I can't tell you what that is. But I can just tell you that it's been gearing up as we get closer to this trial over the last month and probably 2 months. There's been very regular court days for Erin Patterson leading up to this trial in Morwell. But most of these Supreme Court pretrial hearings have been happening in Melbourne, not far from me, about 45 minutes from where I live. They've been happening in the city of Melbourne. So can't tell you anything about it, but I just can tell you that there is movement in the background. Are we going to trial? I hope so. Are we are we getting delayed till next year? I hope not. I hope that is not what's going to happen. I hope we don't get delayed. You see that in a lot of American cases. I hope that's not. I hope we don't get a massive delay. They're like, "Oh, we found new evidence of mushrooms. We've got to get a special mycologist to look for more rare mushrooms that they look like button mushrooms, but they're actually poisonous. We need to study this for the next 3 to 5 years." No, I hope that's not. I hope that's not what happens. I'm gearing up. I'm getting myself mentally ready to go to Morwell. I have been stealing my mind to to get ready to go to Morwell. No, no, no. It's going to be fine. I have family that live out in that area. I've not been to Morwell exactly, but I've been to Moe. I've been to uh, other places out in that region. It's very nice. The people are very kind. They're very nice people out there. They won't talk to us about Erin, but they're very nice. Tuck in. All right. So we have a couple of interesting stories, and neither of them are Laurie Vallow. Neither of them. Although I will say I watched about 20 minutes of Laurie Vallow's trial today, and I was like, "Oh, this is going to be a long, long trial. If this is the way this is going, oh my God, it's going to be." No wonder everyone wants to watch it because it's like a freaking circus. Did you guys see this today where the judge is like, "Laurie, you can't do that. Laurie, you can't do that. Laurie, be mindful. Laurie, be mindful. Don't do that. You can't ask questions. This is testimony when you say." Oh, yeah, yeah. When people defend themselves, apparently. Joe Neal said, "I am smitten with her." Have fun with that. Marilyn Landis said they lost 2 jurors. Yeah, I didn't see quite what for. I'm not following it. I just, like I said, I just watched a little bit of it earlier to catch up on some of the drama. But I did see that they lost a couple of alternates, right? They lost alternate jurors. I mean, it does happen. I don't know. I don't know the reasons for it. If someone wants to put it in the chat, let me know. I don't know the reasons they lost the jurors. but I do know it does happen. It's scary that there's only 2 alternates left. They can always redraft, I'm pretty sure. They keep a pool of people, but I'm not sure what happens should they run out of people. I don't know. You'd have to ask Arizona lawyers. Uh, yeah, I'm sure they will. Laurie's cousin is podcasting. Who's Laurie's cousin? Who's Laurie's cousin? You guys would have to tell me. Is that Megan? No. Is that, Crashes on the other side. Don't know. You'd have to tell me. I'm not watching any of the coverage. Marylander said one was work related. One was was on the phone talking to the daughter. Oh yeah, Megan Connor. Yeah, Megan Connor. Yeah, yeah, Megan. Yes. Why do you have to be so like obtuse? I know who that is. You could have just said, "Hey, it's Megan," and I was like, "Oh yeah, I know who that is." Didn't know that she was Laurie's cousin though. I just know who she is. Um, one was work related. The other was talking on the phone to the daughter. Look, what can you say? I mean, that when you take people from their normal lives, even if you do give them a set of rules, there's always going to be people that either don't fit into the box. So obviously, someone had work related issues. That's something that you know we all deal with. And the other person talking on the phone to her daughter, wow, I mean, they're told not to. So if you break the rules, you break the rules. First cousin, okay. I really haven't seen a lot of it. I dropped off a lot of the Lori Vallow stuff about a year ago. After we got through the second trial in Idaho, I just gave it up. But the one I do want to watch is Brandon Boudreaux. I do want to see his trial in May. I want to see more about that because that is very interesting to me. I want to know more about that. If you've ever read the uh, court documents for Brandon's stuff from a couple of years ago, paints a really wicked picture of exactly who Lori Vallow is and that group of people, like their little, you know, whatever you call them, death squad. Those people, if you can see the text messages and everything surrounding Brandon, it really gives you an insight into just how warped these people were. Rachel said Jura texting his daughter was allowed to stay and told to put his phone away. Yeah, they do normally give a warning. Joe Neal said, I'll only watch Megan covering it because of her closeness to the events. Watch my friend Kresha. My friend Kresha, I watch her. She, you know, there's no one closer. I think that she's got a great insight into it, especially being part of, you know, her mom and dad and, you know, stuff like that. And she's a great podcaster too. Not that Megan isn't, just that I don't know Megan very well, but I do know Kresha, and she is a lovely lady. Yeah, don't be obtuse. That's right. All right. Let's get into it. Let's get the cameras on. You guys are making me just talk like as if I'm on the phone to people, like some sort of group call in the 90s. What do they call it? Like party line. Party line. Call like 1-900. Party, Illinois. All right. That's not what we're doing here. We're doing true crime, people. True crimes. All the crimes from every country in the world. All right, let's go. I want to talk to you about this one because this is bizarre. Did you see that photo we put in the thumbnail? Yeah. All right, let me get you hooked up on this. If I can find it. All right, here we go. Is it that one? All right. We've got a couple of links for it, so that's why I'm like, is it this one? This one? Yes, it is this one. Okay, guys. Let me get set up. Pause this. Here we go. Hey, guys and girls, how are you? Good to see you out there. Good to see you. 1-800-RING-PING. 1-900-RING-PING. Don't ring me. Rachel said Kresha is in her chat, but I think others are streaming for her. It's really hard on her. She didn't end up going. I thought she was going to go. Yeah, it would be really hard. I mean, yeah, I understand who she is. I feel like it's interesting. People want to explain to me who people are. Joe Neal says, "I'll meet Megan and Mrs. Hidden True Crime." You have fun with that. I'm sure if you did meet Mrs. Hidden True Crime, she'd probably get you arrested. I could imagine. I could just imagine. You rock up to her door, you knock on her door, and you're like, "It's me, Joe Neal," and she'll be like, "Who?" And then you'll be like, "It's Joe Neal from your chat," and she'll be like, "Just give me 1 second." And she'll go back inside. She'll grab her cell phone. She'll lock the door, and she'll call the local police to come and get you. I could, I could just imagine it. I think she's had enough of weirdo stalkers interrupting her life. She's had a couple, I think, already. Not that you're weird, just that if you stalk people, you're weird. So, uh, hey, stop that. All right. All right, let's talk about the title one. I find this very, very interesting. A New Jersey woman accused of trying to hire a guy she met on Tinder to kill her ex and his daughter on Tinder. That's where all good people go to hire hitmen on Tinder, right? You get a sort of like you get yourself serviced, and then you kill someone all in the one day. You get a happy ending and a very sad ending all in 24 hours. That costs a lot though. Um, but it's not funny. It's not funny. A guy could have died. So her name is Jacqueline Dorio, faces attempted murder charges after Camden County prosecutors said she tried to pay a man she met on Tinder $12,000 to kill her ex-boyfriend, a Philly police officer, and his 19-year-old daughter. What kind of sick person do you have to be to not only one, want to kill your ex, two, kill his daughter, but then three, he's a freaking cop. I mean, you got the trifecta of like dumb things to do. Dumb things to do. She is warped. They're saying here in the affidavit of probable cause detailed the allegations against the 26-year-old. She's only 26. What the hell? They're saying here they say she identified herself as D and the informant. So there was an informant. I find that interesting that there was an informant on Twitter, on not Twitter, Tinder. According to the Camden County Criminal Complaint Affidavit of Probable Cause obtained by NBC 10 in Philadelphia, they first met on March 31st, 2025 in New Jersey. From March 31st to April 3, the two exchanged several phone calls and text messages. The affidavit said during those conversations, D told the informant that she wished her ex, who she said was a police officer, was dead. On April 3, the County Prosecutor Major Crimes Unit was made aware of the murder for hire plot. A Camden County detective called Philly police to confirm that the target of the plot was a cop. Investigators said they interviewed the Philly police officer on April 4 and that he confirmed that a selfie photo D shared with the informant was his ex-girlfriend. The Philly officer said he met her because she was his barber. The officer told New Jersey detectives that he and her had broke up on March 6, 2025, about a month before, over the summer of 2024. Wait. No, yeah. So over the summer of 2024, there had been multiple temporary restraining officers filed against the officer, but that was later dropped, according to investigators. So she tried to like pin him up with a bunch of like sort of like violence orders against him. Anything in there? I don't know. But he's not the one on Tinder trying to get someone like killed with a hit job. It's her. So you have to wonder. The Philly officer told New Jersey investigators that his home was vandalized by a Molotov cocktail in September 2022. This guy's had a bad couple of years after meeting her. On April 4, the informant told detectives about his conversations over the previous week with her. The informant advised that She had been adamant about killing her ex-boyfriend. She offered the man $12,000 to kill not just the ex, but also his 19-year-old daughter. She said she would pay the man $500 up front and the rest of the money in installments. Because that's how all good murder for hire plots are done, right? You use it like it's some sort of like lay-by or pay away. You you pay in installments. I'd like to kill this person. I'd like to pay in 4 with PayPal. I'd like to break it into like 8 payments over 8 months, please. I I'd like to pay like $1,000 a month for 8 months for the murder of 2 people. Do you think they'll approve that on my credit? I What a weirdo. And $500 up front. Do you think that a hitman would take $500 up front and the rest in installments on a payment plan? Who are these people? And why do they live in our society where they think this is a real thing? On the evening of April 4, she and the informant planned to meet at the Dollar General on Black Horse Pike in Glendora to give him the down payment for the killings, according to investigators. Around 6:45 p.m., the informant got into a white Honda Civic in the Dollar General parking lot. The probable cause affidavit or statement said, once inside the car, she demanded to see the informant's driver's license and then handed over $500. What's that got to do? So, when you meet a hitman, you obviously ask for ID, right? Like you're going to buy some alcohol. So, when you what? Why would you ask for ID? Why? In case you need to track him down later? If you found someone who was willing to do this type of crime, don't you think they might be the type of person who might carry a fake ID? Like, don't you think that they might have a fake name? People who commit murder for money? Like, so why would you ask for a driver's license? What kind of weirdo are you? Not only that, she wanted to pay in installments to kill 2 people. She's a bit odd. They said township policing arrested her, and during the arrest, she was found to have a bottle of, I think it's Xanax, on her with the label ripped off. She was charged with 2 counts of first-degree attempted murder, 1 count of conspiracy to commit murder, and third-degree drug possession. So maybe that's what's going on. Maybe she's so high on Xanax that she's in sort of like a stupor. She's sort of going around in like high on Xanax, organizing payment plans to commit murder for hire. Where do these people come from? And I think these are the type of people who should never be allowed to watch true crime because they'd get far too many weird ideas from it. Or maybe she should have, because I've never heard of murder for hire with a payment plan. Here we go. I'm going to play this little update video outside the courthouse.
Camden County officials, they just got through giving us some of the details. They said that the Philly cop that was the target of this murder plot was also her ex-boyfriend. They broke up back in March, and that's when they say that she hopped on Tinder and matched with someone, started talking to them, and tried to hire them to commit the murder. Even at one point, handing over $500. They're saying that's what led to her arrest.
Today, we're announcing that a Runnymede woman has been arrested and charged in a murder for hire plot.
Jacqueline D. Diorio behind bars for trying to hire a hitman to kill her Philly police officer ex, according to the Camden County prosecutor. The affidavit of probable cause shows police got a call last week about the murder for hire plot. The informant told officials they met the suspect, who went by her middle initial D, on Tinder and started messaging her. During those conversations, D told the informant that she wants her ex-boyfriend killed. Officials say she also wanted his 19-year-old daughter killed, and that she would be willing to pay $12,000 for it. They set a time and place, meeting April 4th at 6:45 p.m. at a store on Black Horse Pike in Glendora. Officials say Diorio handed over $500 as a form of upfront payment. That's when special law enforcement teams in place for the interaction sprung into action.
Law enforcement spoke with the informant. We knew when they were going to meet. We knew where they were going to meet. And once money was exchanged, we knew that charges were appropriate.
And she now faces charges for 2 counts of first-degree attempted murder and also conspiracy to commit murder. She's due back in court on Friday.
She should probably be done for conspiracy to commit dumb payment plans. I've never heard of a hitman taking monthly installments after committing a murder. Don't you think that someone who does this type of thing, if there is, there is, but they're not normally available to 26-year-old white ladies from wherever. Um, do you think that they want to keep in contact with you for many months after the event to claim their payment? I don't think so. I think that they would like to get their money either upfront or very close to after the event and disappear. They're not going to come around your house every month and collect $1,000. It's sort of like, do you remember there's a website? There's a website called like Hire a Hitman. I think it's based in Florida. And every time someone goes on that website and submits an inquiry, the owner of that website sends it to the police and they get arrested. And I think it's sort of like that. Like she went on Tinder to find a hitman. You might be able to find a good afternoon, but you're not going to find a hitman, I don't think. You might find a guy who likes long walks and taking his dog to the dog park, but I don't think any of those descriptions also say, I also accept money to commit murder. I've not seen that on Tinder. How old are you, Joe Neal? How old are you? Arrested for an inquiry? Yeah, they have. Here. Where is it? Yes, they did do this. It's happened several times. Yeah. Woman charged for using Hitman for Hire website on dark web to order murder for lover's wife. And there's heaps of them. There was another one. There's actually like a public website that I can't remember what it's called. It's called like hitman.com or something like that. Let me see. Yeah, rentahitman.com. It's even got a Wikipedia page here. See? It's a satirical website, but like there's real people that have tried to contact and organize a rent to kill. Yeah, it's pretty funny. He said here, upon checking the site's email box in 2008, the owner of the website said they found hundreds of messages requesting contract killing services, but he considered none to be serious. When he checked again in 2010, however, he found a serious request from a woman in Canada. He passed her details to police and she was convicted of soliciting murder. So this has happened a few times, and yeah, don't do it. Even on the dark web, you're probably going to get caught. You're either going to get caught, or they're just going to take your Bitcoin or your money, and that's it. One guy applied to be hired. Yeah, there's been a few different cases. There's been a couple. I think this might be the oldest one, but there was another one. I'm pretty sure it was based in Florida, and they got someone on it. Let's see. Here, according to the site owner, they receive 8 to 10 requests a month, and for a total of around 700 by November 2021, including 400 via his service request form. He removes obvious joke entries, but replies to any inquiries that he considers to be serious. That is funny. He says he allows a client a 24-hour cooling off period, after which he asks 2 questions. Do you still require our services? And would you like me to place you in contact with a field operative for a free consultation? If they reply in the affirmative, he passes their details on to law enforcement. Oh my God, that is so funny. How many of you out there, how many of you out there that have been listening to true crime for a number of years think that there's a legitimate website out there where you can just hire someone to kill someone like that? Is there anyone in the chat that believes that to be a real thing? Raise your hand. Let me know. I would like to know if there's anyone who believes that. Because I think if the thing we've learned in true crime is you're most likely either speaking to a cop or, you're going to get your money taken. You love that YouTube guy? Okay. Sean said, when AC/DC used a random phone number in their song Dirty Deeds, the owners of the number sued them over the amount of calls they received. 2. All right. We'll see you on the cover of the local paper, Joe Neal. I'm sure you'll be there soon. Yeah, I find it funny. Yeah, he said prosecutions. The owner says around 10% of inquiries to the site result in a police investigation. He also considers that he has saved around 150 lives through the website. For a time, he received a lot of inquiries from Indonesia as a result of his site being mentioned in an Indonesian YouTube video about the dark web. He thinks that around a dozen people may have been arrested as a result of the website, but there have been at least a few notable cases. That is funny. I think that if he really has saved around 150 people, wow, he is doing God's work. He really is. What a clever guy. Not for us normies, only billionaires. Yeah. I mean, if you're in like the gang culture or gang members or that type of thing, yeah, it's possible to get a shooter. I promise it is. But some white woman from New Jersey who is just angry at her ex-boyfriend, most likely not. I wouldn't think that she would have the resources. As you can see, she tried to go to Tinder. But if you grew up in that life, yeah, there are people who will do it. Jonna said, "What does he do? I didn't get it." What? He runs a website called Rent a Hitman, and when people inquire, he gives them 24 hours to cool off, and then he messages them again. If they say yes to their request to hire someone to commit murder, he then forwards their details onto police. Are you a white woman from New Jersey? Do you have contacts for a hitman? I'm guessing probably not. I don't think you have one in your phone book, do you? Not that I'm blaming anyone. It could have been any person from anywhere. Could have been anyone. I just don't think most people have that contact. Contact your local Guido? No, I'm not going to do that. Sean said, after 30 years of strict gun laws, Australian gangs still have a lot of guns. They do. That's what they say. The bad guys have the guns and the good guys don't. That seems to be how it is. Jonah says, yeah, see, you ain't got no shooters. You ain't got no shooters, is what they like to say in the rap videos. Uh, yeah, I don't know. Look, I think if you're at this point in your life and you're trying to organize, for someone to commit murder on your behalf, one, it says a lot more about you and the fact that you would rather pay someone than to get your own hands dirty says a lot about your character of what type of person you are. That you would just rather try and use your money to make things go away than to do something yourself. But two, it says that you must be in a really dumb spot in your mind to think that you can just go on the interwebs and order a hitman. How many stories have we read of people like, she's been arrested for a murder for hire. He's been arrested for trying to kill his ex-wife. Spoke to an FBI informant in a chat room. I think I read about 10 of them every year. Nana Lana says, my daughter said whoever put the money up knows Sebastian will never be found and they know they will never have to pay the reward. Someone sent me, I think it was Rachel. Here, let me see if I can grab it. Rachel sent me this video, right? And I want to explain something. Yeah, it's not a video, it's a screenshot. Yeah, let me put this up. think this will demonstrate my point about Sebastian very, very good, very easily. Come on, upload. All right, there we go. This was a child that they found who had gone missing. A 2-year-old Michigan boy vanished from his home, but tragedy was avoided when rescuers using helicopter thermal imaging found him curled up in a ball beside a busy interstate. That's one helicopter. One. How many freaking FLIR helicopters and mobile units and people searching did they have for Sebastian Rogers? How many? Freaking hundreds of people, several helicopters, like light planes, people on 4x4, all different things. I know they had thermal imaging. And you all think that they can't, like, they found this 2-year-old boy. You think they can't find a freaking teenager? This is a 2-year-old who's like, what, a third of the height of Sebastian? A third. And everyone's like, you don't think that they would have just picked him up like that, especially being the area that Sebastian went missing in. Like we know, there's not a lot of street lights, so those FLIR cameras will work really well in that area. He would have lit up like a freaking Christmas tree. They would have found him very, very quickly. So the fact that they never found him after all that searching, all the aeroplanes and flight paths and search teams and this and that, look, is it possible to miss someone? Sure. But there was just so much people, and they were asking people to double check your backyards twice a day and head out there. And now tell me where Sebastian is. Do you still think he walked out of that house and somehow no one saw him? There's no CCTV, there's no freaking sightings, no one saw him in the main street of town, no one heard him creeping through the backyard of their home. He's not in the pond around the corner. I give you this image. That's what I give you in regards to Sebastian Rogers. And you just see how it just lights up. This is a child, 2-year-old. Sebastian, being a teenager, would have been bigger, more body mass, and would have been an easier target on the camera. This is a child, a toddler. So I don't know what happened to Sebastian Rogers, but I think some of the things we're hearing right now, while they're well intentioned, I like Steve. I think Steve's a decent guy, and I think he does put his heart and soul into trying to fix things or find stuff or whatever. He tries to do his job. Um, I just don't think we're moving in a very good direction. Woman of Steel said he probably left in a car like Summer Wells, maybe. Marylander says construction site, possibly. SP Mama said a lot of kids are found like that. They are missing 411 cases, searched 10 times over. Sebastian doesn't meet those standards at all. Yeah, there's something funny going there. Danny says Steve jumped the shark, in my opinion. I like Steve. I do believe he does good work. I mean, I can't agree with everything he says or posts or whatever, and I don't think that's possible with any human being, but, he has a living to make, right? He's a PI or whatever. He has to make his money or whatever. Jonas says nothing on the Green Beret. Oh yeah, we did. We had an update on it last week. Did you miss the update? Shanna Cloud was arrested over the murder of her husband. That happened about a week ago, right? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I'll do a quick little update for people who, for some reason, may have missed it.
A woman accused of killing her estranged husband, a retired Green Beret. We're now hearing from his girlfriend. Janae Norman here with the story. Good morning, Janae.
Guys, good morning. This is a really wild story. He was a retired Green Beret who was looking to start a new chapter. He was in school, planning to file for divorce when he vanished. Now his estranged wife is charged in his murder.
This morning, police say that 50-year-old Shayna Cloud murdered her husband, Clint Bonnell, the day after he asked for a divorce. Bonnell, a Green Beret, had recently retired after a 20-year stint in the Army. In January, he suddenly disappeared. A month later, his body was found in a pond 3 miles from the home he shared with his wife and stepdaughter. The 911 call obtained by our station WTVD.
It looks like there might be a part of a body floating out in the water.
Last week, his remains were identified. Shortly after, his wife was arrested.
There you go. So if you missed that the other week, yeah, she has been arrested and charged over his killing. We found out that Clint was going to leave his wife because their marriage had been stagnant and basically over for a number of years. They had just been living together as housemates, basically. Shanna Cloud didn't even really live there, or Shania, whatever, Shanana. She lived in a different property most of the time anyway. So she found out about the other woman. She became enraged and killed her soon-to-be ex-husband. Should have just let him go. What are you fighting for? I don't get it. Your marriage was already over, and by all descriptions, you had a dead marriage for a number of years. You even went to counseling, apparently. What are you killing people for? For what reason? Just let him let him go have the yoga instructor. Who cares? You had already moved out of the property most of the time. Why? It's just control. It's just losing control of a situation, even though a level-headed person would say, well, we're probably at that point anyway, and it's probably time to end it. So, yeah. The poor daughter, right. Yeah, she's a little older now. She's still gonna have a hard time, though. Glitter said, "I don't get it either. I would never want to force somebody to be with me. If they wanna leave, it doesn't make sense to me at all." Me either. You wanna go? Go. I don't want someone here that doesn't wanna be here. Danny Mitchell said, "And she would have gotten the retirement money." Yeah, he had a lot of money from his, pension. Rachel said, "She had a boyfriend in another state where she lived. Should have just moved on." I didn't know that. I knew that he had started dating that yoga lady, but I didn't know that about her. Joanna says, "No wonder he wanted to divorce her. She was Looney Tunes." I agree. How old was what's her name? Shanna. I would say the pronunciation of Shana would be Shanna here. Well, I think they call her Shayna over in America. I don't know how old she was. 40 something. She'd be. He's 50, so I can look it up. No, that's not how we do that. She's 50. So she's 50 years old. Just celebrated her 50th birthday. She'll get to celebrate her 51st birthday in jail. Congratulations. Have fun. You absolute horrible human being. To cut up your husband and dump him in a pond. All because your marriage was over. There's women and men every day in our society that have marriages that break down and separate. You do not need to kill someone. Remember that on this earth, you are but a tiny speck, and that there are like billions of other people on this planet. You could meet someone that's better. Like the odds are in your favor. The odds really are. Like there's so many people you don't know. There's other like nice people and men and women you could be friends with or more. Like there's no need to get so attached to one person, especially if you see the signs that it's over. Like you got to let that control go. Yeah. Yep, she has been arrested. It took a while, but they did it. Probably. I think he was funding her lifestyle, or at least a lot of it, yeah. Joe Neal, a Navy SEAL. I don't think he was a Navy SEAL, was he? I think he was just Green Beret. I don't know if that is that a. I don't know the hierarchy of American military. But whatever he was, he committed to his country, served it, and once he got out of the military, he was going to go serve people once again by continuing in his medical career. So he was a guy who served not only his country but his community. And for that, we should all be thankful to have people like Clint, even though he's gone now. But we should be thankful to have people like him in our lives and in our countries and communities. You know, someone who wanted to further his own life, but by helping others. Woman of Steel said, "People who kill think they are the ones who invented it. They are geniuses and they are smarter than police, yet they always get caught." She was burning evidence in a like a burn bin outside of their house when police came to the property to look for Clint. She is not the smartest cookie at all. She is not very clever. Rachel said, Joe, she shot in the back. His backpack had holes in it. Joe, what? Joe, she shot in the back. What? Are you saying that? Are you saying that Clint was originally shot to death? That makes sense. Chuck Norris needs to sort her out. He will in prison. I didn't hear that about the gunshots. I did not hear that. But it makes sense. How else would she kill him? Let's see. Yeah. A North Carolina woman allegedly killed and dismembered her Green Beret husband after he told her he was leaving her for another woman. Is there anything here about gunshots? Yeah, when he returned to the home he shared with Cloud that evening, Clinton texted Edwards, which was his girlfriend, to let her know he had told Cloud about the divorce and was going to bed. The next day, he missed his classes at the school, prompting a school official to call the local sheriff and report him missing. Cloud, meanwhile, declined to file a missing persons report. Here's a photo of her here. Yeah, that was always a little strange. That she never filed him missing, never did any media to look for him. Yeah. They said then when authorities arrived at the home they shared to check on him, she allegedly told the deputies she had not seen him since the day before when they left in separate cars. She said he was off to the university to study. At that point, the deputies at the scene searched the home for any signs of what may have happened, and they said they found inside the home, they found his wallet, laptop, and backpack with bullet fragments inside. They said the damage from the backpack was from a projectile, suggesting he may have been harmed. There you go. That's where the gunshot thing came from. So she killed him from behind, basically. An ambush. She ambushed Clint. And then they said here, when they found the body, they found a body dismembered with no arms and no legs. That was that pond where they found his remains. Brutal. I mean, it didn't need to happen. Walk the F away. Everyone, men and women, walk away. Learn this mantra for your entire life. Walk away. There's no need to be so possessive. Just think of it like this, right? If your marriage or relationship is coming to an end, I know it's hard after like many years together, right? But I'm sure you could get to that part in your mind where you're like, great, let some other woman have that crazy bastard, or like, let some other guy have that crazy bitch. Like, get to that part of your mind. Don't get to the part of your mind where you're like, oh, I should kill someone. Get to the part of the mind where you're like, good luck living like someone living with them. Good luck finding another person that's as, awesome as me. Like, Get to that part of your mind. Don't get to the part of the mind where you're like, I should dismember someone. I should kill them and put them in a pond. Yeah, get to that other part. Because like I'm sure that's the easier part, like mentally to get to because you're already there. You're already like this person's crazy. I'm glad this is over. That's a way better situation to be in. Sean said, aren't Green Berets top of the food chain? I have no idea. I don't know a lot about it. Jonas says, exactly, move on. I agree. Warner still said, do you think that Barry Morphew will ever be prosecuted now? Ellie should have waited until her body was found. I don't know. I think they screwed up so badly in the first try at it at court. They would have to literally have a watertight case. They would have to have a smoking gun. They would literally have to have something where it was undeniable. Anything less than that, anything circumstantial, I don't think they'll do it. And as sad as that is for Susan Morphew's family and her daughters, you blame it on the state, you blame it on the prosecutors. That first case was such a mess that it has polluted any future prosecution of Barry. And I think we just got to wait it out and hope that there's some sort of just really good evidence that comes up where they can connect Barry to it. Like there is a little bit, but it is mostly circumstantial. There's nothing to say like he dropped the body out there. There's nothing to say, most of it is very, very like, and we all know that he did it. It's putting it together in a court case where the jury wouldn't be able to find any other way but guilty. It's just, it's hard. Danny Mitchell said, don't the daughters claim he's innocent? That happens. If that is true, I don't know if it is. It happens in a lot of cases where a parent kills the other parent. Because the children only have one parent left, I think it must be some psychological thing where it's almost like Stockholm syndrome, where they don't want to lose the parent that they have left. So they form an unhealthy attachment to that parent, including proclaiming like their innocence and things like that. Often when they're convicted and they go away, and a number of years later, they change their tune and they start like, oh no, I realized that, mom did that or dad did that. And, I was wrong when I was younger. Like I've heard many interviews from children who have had that type of situation come up in their lives. Warner still said we can't prove it, plus double jeopardy would apply. No, double jeopardy wouldn't apply, right? Because they dismiss the case without prejudice, right? So they can trial him again on the same charge. Am I right about that? I was pretty sure that's the last thing I heard. Hold on. Yeah, that looks like what happened. That looks like what happened. Yeah, Morphew. The case was dismissed without prejudice in April 2022. Apparently, Morphew filed a lawsuit a year later. So, I don't know. We'll see. There was an article that came out a couple of years ago saying that charges could be still filed against him. Yeah. Here's why charges can still be filed against Barry Morphew. Yeah. How is this possible? Since the case was dismissed without prejudice, a prosecutor or petitioner is not necessarily precluded from refiling the case at a later point in time, especially if there's new evidence. So that's what they would need. Now that they have the body, but again, they would need more than they had the first time And I mean even more than finding Susan. They need more. Hey Emma. Hey my friend, how are you? I know that girl on Tinder, you do? She's a former ghost hunt YouTuber. Oh. Really? Is that true, my friend? You followed her for a long time? Okay. Hold on. You're talking about the girl in the first story? Not Shanna Cloud, right? The first one. Okay. Yeah, Jacqueline. I don't see anything like that, but you would have to maybe you could tell me the username, my friend. Maybe you could tell me what channel or whatever it was. Because when I searched that with the keyword, nothing comes up. Maybe she had like an online name, sort of like Ping. So maybe she has like an online thing. First lady, she is a kind of Oma. Oh, okay. Oh my gosh. A ghost hunter. Okay. We can look into this. We can look into this. I didn't know that, but interesting. Yeah. Interesting that she was involved in YouTube or ghost hunting. Maybe that's why she was going to kill him so she could put him on an episode of her ghost hunting YouTube channel. She's like, "Oh, I really need a really good episode for my social media career. I'm going to kill my ex-boyfriend and then I'm going to speak to him from the dead." Maybe. And I'm going to ghost hunt him. All right. It's not funny, Ping. It's not funny. All right. I'm going to take you here. Oh, interesting. That's not what I wanted to talk to you about, but there's another story breaking in Philadelphia. But I'll take you to that later. Hold on. Where is it? Yeah. I'm going to take you to WPLG, and then I'm going to tell you more about it.
Man on death row for the rape and murder of a Miami Herald worker is set to be executed by lethal injection tomorrow.
The execution of Michael Tanzi will be Florida's third this year, and Local 10's Janine Stanwood will be in the room when it happens. Janine is live at the Florida State Prison to tell us more about it. Janine.
Michael Tanzi has been moved, we understand, to a death watch cell that is slightly bigger than his death row cell. This is before that scheduled lethal injection tomorrow at 6 p.m. The woman he killed, a beloved Miami Herald employee, is being remembered as kind and calm. This was a crime that shocked South Florida all those years ago.
Janet Acosta was known as the Calm in a bustling Miami Herald newsroom, a kind and quick-witted person who volunteered in the community. And now, the man convicted of brutally killing her 25 years ago, Michael Tanzi, is scheduled to be executed by lethal injection.
So they did end up executing him today. He was executed. I can't play all the video because we'll get done with copyright. But let me take you out to here. They say a Florida man was convicted of killing a Miami Herald employee who was abducted on her lunch break and executed Tuesday evening. Michael was pronounced dead at 6:12 p.m. following a three-drug injection at the Florida State Prison for the April 2000 strangling of Janet Acosta. They're saying a production worker at the newspaper, Acosta was attacked in her van, beaten, robbed, and driven to the Florida Keys, and then strangled, and her body left on an island. In a final statement, his voice barely audible, he said, "I want to apologize to the family," and then recited a verse from the Bible. As the drugs were then administered, his chest heaved for about 3 minutes and then stopped. A corrections officer shook him by the shoulders and said his name loudly twice to determine if he was still conscious. There was no response, and then they said he was declared dead. He is the third person to be executed in Florida this year, Another lethal injection is scheduled for May 1st under death warrant signed by Governor Ron DeSantis. Court records show Acosta was on a break on April 25th, 2000 when she was attacked. She was reading a book in her van when he approached her, asked for a cigarette, and then began punching her in the face. Holding her waist and threatening her with a razor blade, he drove her to Homestead, south of Miami, where he stopped at a gas station, bound and gagged her, and took $53 in cash from her along with her bank card. They then headed to the Florida Keys, where he used Acosta's bank card to steal money from her account. Later, they stopped at a hardware store where he bought duct tape and razor blades. He then drove to an isolated area on the Keys, told her he was going to kill her, and began to strangle her. He stopped to place duct tape over her mouth, nose, and eyes in an attempt to quiet her, and then strangled her until she expired. Well, I can't think of a better person to be put to death. I really can't. What an absolute blight on society he was. Stole what seems to be a very nice lady who was working for the news station or the newspaper in Florida, trying to bring her local community, the latest news and information. Really, really gross guy. Took long enough. Yeah, he had 25 extra years on this earth, and hers ended in the millennium, the year 2000. Do you all remember where you were in the year 2000? Ping was like 17 or 18. I was a young kid. Well, I don't know. Maybe that's his weapon of choice. Weapon of choice. I don't know. I'm not sure why he wanted razor blades. I don't know. Maybe the one he had became dull. I'm not sure. But he was put to death today in Florida. And they said he was morbidly obese in his final years. And what was his final meal? Let's see. What did he have? Let's see. Where is his final meal? It's nice to. What did they even tell us in this article? It's like they're like, oh, his final meal. Oh, he indulged in his final meal request of pork chops, bacon, ice cream, and a candy bar. It's one of the more simple meal requests I've seen. Pork chops, bacon, ice cream, and a candy bar. I think I've seen some people request like freaking lobster, and I think some guy wanted Popeyes. One guy wanted Popeyes chicken and grape soda or something. There was another guy that wanted a watermelon. There's been a bunch of weird ones. How did he get so obese in jail? I don't know. Maybe commissary? Maybe he had a lot of money in commissary? Glitter said, I love bacon. I made candy bacon yesterday in my air fryer. Did you? How's the new house going, Glitter? Did he have a criminal history? I don't know. I'd say so. I don't know what his previous offending was. There is a photo of him actually down here of what he looked like at the time. Where is it? Yeah. That's not it. Ping's got too many articles open, guys. There was another photo here. This is what he looked like at the time. I don't know of any previous offending. He was indicted for... he also admitted to the killing of another woman, Carolyn Holder, in Brockton, Massachusetts, a few months before he killed Acosta. So not only did he kill one woman, he killed two. So no, this guy, no problem that he's gone. Glitter said, it's great. I don't have furniture in here yet, but we don't even care. We just have a little bit, but still every day. I'm glad that you're in somewhere that's safe and has running water and things like that. Jaden turned 17 yesterday. Happy birthday, Jaden. Happy birthday. You're now a grown man. You are now the the man of the household. You're going to have to learn how to do plumbing, you know, odd jobs around the house for mum. You're going to have to like learn how to cook and pay bills. You're gonna have to step up, son. No, I'm just kidding. I'm sure your mum does a lot. Joe Neal said he's with the Lord. I don't know. I think he's with the guy with the red pointy horns. I don't think he's with the Lord. I don't think the Lord takes people who kill two women. I think he's with the guy with the pitchfork. I think that's where he ended up. He is an absolute piece of crap. Yeah, who Carolyn Holder in Brockton, Massachusetts is the other woman he killed. Let me see if I can find a photo of her. He was a fledgling serial killer. That's what they called him. I want to see a photo of her. I don't see a photo of her. How weird. Here, look at this. An old article from the year 2000. Published 5th of May 2000. Man denies role in local slaying. Police investigating a St. Petersburg woman slaying question a suspect in South Florida murder case. A man suspected of killing two women was in the Tampa Bay area around the time a resident called Elizabeth Swanson was beaten to death inside her dry cleaning business. But in an interview Tuesday in the Key West, homicide detectives accused Michael A. Tanzi of Massachusetts, and he denied involvement in the February 11 murder of her. Wow, did they ever prosecute him on that? They said he didn't confess to the killing of Miss Swanson, but we're not going to take his word for it. He has not been charged over her death. Detectives are calling him an investigative lead. He was arrested last week in Key West and charged with the April 25th abduction and strangulation of Jeanette Acosta. He led police to her body in the woods off a remote road in the Keys. During questioning, authorities said he also told South Florida authorities he killed 36-year-old Carolyn Holder in August while she worked alone in a laundry service in Brockton, Massachusetts. So she worked in a laundry service? And then this woman worked in a dry cleaning. This Elizabeth Swanson. It's odd that they both worked in a clothes cleaning type business. I wonder if he was ever convicted over that one. Yeah, what's his name? Killed another one. All right. Let me see if he ever got done on that. It doesn't say in this article. Swanson murder. Yeah. So apparently Elizabeth Swanson, her case is a cold case, but apparently he denied all involvement in her death. But if you ask me, I know they could never pin it to him, but I reckon it was him. I really do. The fact that he already attacked a woman in Massachusetts that worked in a laundry service, and then this woman died very close to where Acosta was killed, but this woman worked in a dry cleaning business. Seems like he liked to attack women who were working like in solo type roles, somewhere where they might be alone a little bit. Definitely sounds like it was probably him. They just were never able to pin it on him before he was executed. But definitely sounds like they have a feeling it was probably Michael. Yeah, he admitted to the laundry killing, but not the other. I know. I don't know. But it just seems like it could be him. Let's see. Fledgling. No, fledgling just means like the beginning. Like he was first steps of becoming a serial killer. That type of thing. Yeah, I mean, it was the year 2000, February 11, 2000. Quite a while, maybe the technology wasn't as good. Yeah, I don't know why he never admitted. If he admitted to the one in Massachusetts, why would he not admit to the other one? But yeah, they said that they did they did think he was a good fit for that murder. Yeah. In that article from 2000, they said what piqued our interest is what Tansey mentioned to other people about the Brockton incident, where it was a woman working at a dry cleaner's. She was alone at the time. There was blunt force trauma used, and robbery was the motive. So they said that matched the one in Florida of Mrs. Swanson. So I don't know why he wouldn't admit to it, even on his deathbed, but hey. Beginning to fledge, yeah. Coincidence? It'll come out in the wash? We'll see. I mean, they're saying her case is a cold case, that there's no investigative leads, they don't have any new direction for it, and that there's no, like, updates at all, which is pretty sad. I mean, I'm sure her family would like to have someone held accountable for, you know, for their loved one's death. Elizabeth Swanson. Yeah, let me see if I can find anything else on her. I don't see a lot about her. It's very sad. Yeah. Not a lot of information about her. This particular site, Criminal Memorial, seems to have the most information about her. Yeah, the case has since gone cold. But nice photo of her here. There you go. 2000. Jojo says, Marilyn, he fell asleep holding his leapfrog microscope. Aw. Is that your son, Jojo? Or grandson? Let's see. It's your kid. I hope he's doing well, Jojo. Your daughter will be 43. Does she fall asleep with her leapfrog microscope too, Marilyn Landis? Does she still do that at 43? Your son? That's very cute. I hope he's doing well. All right. All right, let's head to Pennsylvania. Because this case, Kentucky man accused of trafficking a 13-year-old girl in Bucks County. I don't know if we'll get a update. Yeah, well, here we go. It just threw me out of the... Oh, why does it do that? There we go.
Jacqueline, these are the court documents that lay out the cases against those three men. Now, the district attorney says it was back in February that she held a news conference here at the courthouse in Doylestown, announcing an entirely different sexual abuse case. She says it was from that news conference that the mother in this case learned to go in and look at her daughter's phone. She says, had that mother not seen that news conference, then followed the advice laid out, this abuse may never have been discovered. His name is Zachary McCauley, a 29-year-old man from Kentucky. But prosecutors say online he pretended to be a teen, made a friend on Snapchat, and sexually abused a Bucks County girl.
It's unthinkable what he was doing. And to understand that Those images and those videos are out there and very, very difficult for us to ever take down from the internet.
Macaulay, according to court documents, groomed the girl, gained her trust, and then used it to force her into sending explicit photos.
As a result, this 13-year-old child identity, her picture was posted on an application that is a dating application, Grindr.
DA Jennifer Shorn says Macaulay had access to the account and told the girl how to enter in a fake age. She'd then be told to meet men she didn't know.
We have a 67-year-old man engaging in sexual intercourse with a 13-year-old child from Bucks County and a 42-year-old man.
John Van Ingen picked her up in his truck, according to court records. The pair engaged in sexual activity in a parking lot. The second man, Randy Quinn, took the child to a Doylestown hotel. The sex acts were then live streamed for Macaulay to witness.
This case exemplifies just how long the reach is of a child sexual predator using these social media platforms. I can assure you that currently this investigation is still very much active. And if there are additional victims, we will make sure that this individual is prosecuted.
According to court records, Macaulay told the girl his name was Jake and he lived in Pennsylvania. Police say he threatened the girl if she didn't comply, he'd harm her mother.
This was not an isolated incident. This was repeated acts of victimization of this child.
Now, we did reach out to attorneys for both of the men based here in Bucks County. The attorney for Van Ingen did not return our call.
Oh, this seems to be a very typical motivation for some of these predators. There was a guy in the UK who they think might be one of the greatest internet predators of all time, and he used a similar motivation as this guy. Often made them like get one piece of something, and then would use that to blackmail and like keep going with it until it built up into what you see here. I'm glad they found him, but that poor girl, 13 years old. His name is Zachary Macaulay of Kentucky, and he's accused of that ST of a 13-year-old girl and arranging sexual encounters with her and two other men in PA. Investigators said Macaulay posed as a 17-year-old boy on the social media app Snapchat and coerced the girl into sending him sexually explicit images while threatening her mother. They do that a lot too. They often threaten family, friends, workplaces, school, that type of thing to control their victim. Macaulay arranged several sexual encounters with the victim, which led to the girl meeting three men in Bucks County, PA in October 2024. According to investigators, two of the men had sex with the victim, while the third man left after being suspicious of the girl's age. Investigators identified, by the way, good work on that third guy. The third guy who left because he was suspicious of her age. Can we just say congratulations to that guy for actually being a stand-up type of person? And when his hinky meter went off and was like, wait a second, this girl doesn't look like she's 18, he just turned around and left. I think that is, we need to see more of that rather than the other two men who did victimize the victim. Investigators identified the two men who SA'd the victim as John Thomas Van Ingen, 67, of Buckingham Township, PA, and Randy Francis Quinn, 42, of Coopersburg, Pennsylvania. Wow. There's Zachary Lee Macaulay here. He looks exactly like the freaking Lord of the Rings mother effer that you think he does. The investigation began in February 2025 when the mother of the 13-year-old girl reported suspicious activities to the Bucks County DA's office. Investigators learned that the 13-year-old girl was on social media at Snapchat last year when a man who identified himself as Jake added her as a friend. Officials said Jake claimed he was 17 years old and knew the girl was 13, according to investigators. Officials said Jake was actually Zachary Macaulay. Yeah, there you go. Back to the Lord of the Rings looking, elf looking mother effer. Glitter says, I told Jaden if anyone ever threatened him or tried to extort him, number one, don't believe any of their stories, and number two, tell me immediately. Yeah, Jaden, don't be sending no dick pics to any freaking hot girls online. Most likely you're going to get blackmailed or something. Just ask your mum for advice. Don't be doing that. Apparently, there's so many young men who get trapped into these sort of blackmail situations because they meet a cute girl, they swap some photos, and then they find out that the person on the other end is not a hot teenage girl. It's actually some weird dude in freaking the Philippines or something, and he's trying to blackmail you out of money or something like that. It's not worth it. Glitter said, I also told him don't send messages or put things out on the internet, but he wouldn't want me. Or yeah, don't do anything on the internet that you wouldn't want your mum to see, because your mum will probably find out. Yeah, I know. Look at that guy, right? It happened to you. What did you do? Did you beat them down, Joe Neal? You show him. You show him. Kaliza said, hey, Ping and everyone. Hello. Hi. Good to see you. Do like the Queen wave. Hello. Jojo says, the internet is not for young girls. The world is a scary place. I don't think it's for young guys either. Young men are the number one like blackmail victim worldwide now. It's the fastest growing segment for exploitation is actually young men, not young girls. Although young girls are still being victimized, but the sharp acceleration of young men being blackmailed is off the charts. The old men overseas, yeah. Yeah, there was a big story on it, like about a year ago, where a young guy in somewhere in America, like Midwest America, a teenage kid ended up taking his own life because he sent some naked photos to who he thought was a hot girl, and it wasn't. And then they started blackmailing him for money. And as we all know, teenagers don't have money. Like teenagers they get whatever they're given from their parents or whatever they have their part-time job or, that type of thing. And yeah, the kid ended up killing himself, unfortunately. And it's really sad. His parents found out after what was going on. Glitter said it's not for young boys either. They are between the ages of 14 and 17. They are disappearing and being, yeah, it is true. Sextortion, yeah, we've done a few stories on it. Hold on. Yeah, just this one last year out of Western Australia in Australia. WA man jailed for sextortion of 286 victims. They say the Perth man who coerced 286 victims, including 180 children from 20 different countries into performing sexually explicit acts on camera or video, has been sentenced to 17 years in prison. The man who was 29, who posed as a teenage social media celebrity to prey on children and young adults online, was sentenced by the Perth District Court today in 2024, last year, after pleading guilty in December 2023 to 119 charges that covered more than 550 incidents across 11 months. When determining the sentence, the judge also took into account another 3 charges capturing 108 incidences of behaviour. The Australian Federal Police Assistant Commissioner David McLean said the scale of the predatory and exploitative offending by the offender made it one of the worst cases of extortion he had seen in history. The AFP worked closely with the US Homeland Security Investigations, Interpol, to investigate initial reports about an Australian man sextorting girls through social media. During the investigation, AFP officers in WA liaised through the AFP's international network with police in multiple countries to identify victims and check on their welfare. They said he would contact young females whose accounts had visible friends list and try to befriend them before manipulating them into providing explicit content. He would then blackmail them into providing increasingly sexual and degrading videos by threatening to send earlier explicit content to their family and friends. The playbook is always the same. They get that first little bite and then they just keep working it the whole time. Same with the guy in the UK, same with the guy in America, same with the guy in Europe. They're all the same. They work, they use the same playbook. They said one Canada-based victim told police she was just 13 when someone she thought was a 15-year-old social media celebrity contacted her online. Instead, it was the Perth man who asked her a series of sexually explicit questions before sending edited screenshots of the conversation that depicted the victim liking his sexual fantasies. The offender then threatened to send those doctored images to her friends and family unless she complied with his demands for sexually explicit videos. On some occasions, the man forced victims to perform sexual acts on camera for viewing of himself and other unknown individuals. In one instance, it was as many as 98 other people watching. He also conversed online with other child offenders, swapping strategies with them, as well as the details of children who were susceptible to blackmail and abuse. The AFP first charged the man when he was 25 in September 2020 and then laid further charges throughout 2021, 2022, and 2023. Since September 2019, the AFP, with the assistance from the Commonwealth prosecutors, have been reviewing the man's stored online chat records, videos, and photographs. While AFP investigators liaise with international law enforcement partners to identify the victims and the scale of his, exploitation and abuse. 86 victims, almost 300 victims, just from this one guy. That's it. And he got 17 years in prison for that. For like over 500 incidents. That's crazy, right? Only 17 years. Should be a life imprisonment. Think of that. That's 300 children who were abused. And he only got 17 years. I think that is a very minimal sentence for his offending. It's not a lot. It's pretty light. Yeah. Yeah, let me see if I can find a report on this that's not the AFP. No, that's not what I want to do. There we go. Here we go. Just trying to see if there's anything interesting in here that we haven't read through yet. No, it seems like so his non-parole period is only 9 years. So he may be out in only 9 years. They said here the man exploited and abused victims from 20 countries: Australia, the USA, the UK, Brazil, Canada, France, Germany, Guam, Ireland, Israel, Italy, Japan, Namibia, New Zealand, North Macedonia, Norway, Panama, South Africa, Spain, and the Netherlands. All those countries and 300 victims all over the world. It's crazy. He deserves at least one lifetime in prison. Glitter said he'll only be 48, yeah. Actually, no, he'll be younger than that. He's 29. If he's released in 9 years, he could be 37 by the time he is released. 37. He wouldn't even be like an older guy at that point. He could still be quite a young man. He would be about 30 because he got arrested in 2020 with time served. What's 9 years? 2020. So he could be out in 2029. 2029, he was 25 when arrested. 2029. So no, he'd be 34. He could be 34 or 35 if he makes parole after 9 years in 2029. he could be 34 or 35. That's insane. He lives in Australia, in Western Australia, on the other side of the country. I know, right? It's I've never heard of something like only getting 9 years in prison. There was a documentary that came out about a UK one, but I can't remember what it's called. Catching the Predator or something? I can't remember what it's called, but it was released like about a month. Yeah, Prime Suspect Hunting the Predators. It might be this one. There was one where they detailed a bunch of the high-profile cases out of the UK. This one, Prime Suspect Hunting the Predators. If you haven't seen it, if you are okay watching that type of thing, it is a good one to see how they do it and how they finally get people. There was one guy they had been tracking since like 2012, but they couldn't find him. So they kept they could find some of his victims, but they couldn't find him. And he kept offending. And eventually they did find him. They said he used a lot of VPNs to try and get around tracking, but apparently he slipped up one time, and they won't detail exactly how he slipped up, so they can keep that a secret. But they said there was a momentary lapse where they figured it out, and they were able to get his IP address for his home in England, and then they arrested him. But it took them like 12 years to get him. Huge sea sand bust in Florida today, is it? There was the one. Are you talking about the Mehmet Burke one? Yeah, it's this one.
Good morning, everybody. It's great to be back in Tampa again. I'm joined here this morning with Commissioner Mark Glass, Florida Department of Law Enforcement, Special Agent in Charge from the Tampa office, Mark Brutinel, and Special Counsel from our Office of Statewide Prosecution, Rita Peters. It's good to be back. I wish it was to talk about something more uplifting, but we do have a big announcement this morning that we are busting an international child pornography ring. We will be bringing charges against 8 individuals this morning, 7 of whom are Florida residents. As a dad of 3 little ones, it's tough to talk about some of this stuff, but what these guys were doing was truly heinous. There's not a word in the English dictionary that can describe the gross content that was on the videos. Our investigators have been able to get their hands on over 1 million videos showing sexual abuse on minors. Many of these individuals were babies that are being sold around the world. The 2023 National Center for Missing and Exploited Children reports over 36 million instances of suspected child sexual exploitation and over 100 million files.
Did you hear those amounts that they're talking about? Like 1 million like videos or whatever. And the amount of it's almost unfathomable how much data that is. Yeah.
Related to child sex abuse material. And that's only what's getting reported. This continues to be a problem in our country, in our state. Protecting our kids is not an easy task to begin with. And today, with the access to the internet and social media, it allows these sick predators to more easily get access to our kids. And as I've said, my first 5-6 weeks on the job here, that's going to be a major priority for my office. The individuals that are being busted today that purchased this harmful content, many of them found it through TikTok. It was available online. They found access to a portal where they could purchase this dangerous material. TikTok has shown they can very quickly get stuff off their website. If there's unlicensed music or something going around, they've proven with a flip of a switch they can get it off. And it's taken too long for them to get some of this pornographic material and avenues to purchase harder, more gross content. We've got to get them to be more accountable. So we will.
Like on TikTok, and people are using like the TikTok store to purchase like even more content, even more videos. You think of the scale of this one, it must be one of the biggest busts in history, at least for content. Maybe not the amount of people or whatever, but the actual videos and things like that. It's insane. Never heard of anything like that in depth, especially on TikTok. It's strange, but I guess they find any way to service and hide in plain sight, which hiding on TikTok amongst a giant algorithm of other things is probably, somewhat clever.
We'll be working on that. We are going to hold social media companies accountable that want to put our families and our kids in jeopardy. So today, these 8 defendants are being charged with multiple felony counts, including RICO, money laundering, and purchase of child pornography. Again, I can't tell you in words how gross this content is, but it shows the dangers, the evil that's out there. It is truly evil. And you've got my word that in this state, we are going to do everything we can to hold these people accountable. If you are a child predator, if you are one of these sick people, then I hope you never see the sun again. And I hope you certainly never have access to kids again. So we will continue that fight. And I want to give a very special thanks to Rita Peters from Statewide Prosecution for leading this fight. She's going to slap these guys around in the courtroom. And unfortunately, I'm figurative in that comment. But thankful to her, as well as investigator Abby George, who busted the case. So thank you. I'll turn it over to Commissioner Mark Glass.
Any more long-term
Commissioner Mark Glass.
And when I distribute phone calls from law enforcement purchased
that are also victims of sexual battery and
So I wanted to see that this photo here. I wanted to see this. So they've got a warrant out for this guy must be the runner of it. They're trying to get him. He's in Turkey. They arrested this guy from New Jersey. They've arrested her out of Portland, Oregon. And it looks like they've arrested all these bottom tier people too. And look, a lot of them young white men, all around the similar age bracket, although some look really young. This kid, Frankie Pinero Jr., that guy looks like he can't be more than like about 23. There you go. There's their hierarchy that they're trying to chase after. They said here, according to the FDLE, they seized and shut down the site. It was called printedpics.com. Peter said that after this website was shut down, they had global agencies such as from England thanking them for shutting it down due to it being such a problem. 8 people were arrested. Here, Frankie Pinero Jr. from Groveland, New Jersey, is charged with conspiracy to commit RICO, purchase of child CSAM, and a use of a two-way communication device to commit a felony. He's looking at 40 years in Florida State Prison. Brett Ryan Moore from Orange City has been charged with conspiracy to commit. Same thing, 40 years in prison. All these people, Israel Cole Thompson from Lakeland in Florida, 40-year sentence. Brett Allen Snodderly from Clearwater, Florida, facing 40 years in state prison. Jacob Ross Conley from Fern Park is facing 40 years as well. Cody Vance Jordan Multy from Palm Bay, 40 years in prison. Michael Andrew Warden from Kissimmee. Hey, Kissimmee. Is additionally facing 40 years in state prison. They said that if Mehmet, who is that top guy on that photo you guys can see, or could see before, they can't find him because he's not in the country, but they are looking for him in relation to this offending. So, wow, that is a lot of years in prison. See the difference though? 17, maybe 9 in Australia. In Florida, 40 years in state prison. Interesting that the different use of charges compared to the two. Would be nice to see especially for that guy we read about, being that he had over 550 incidents with different underage people. So, and you see these people, they were doing something slightly different, but they're getting 40 years in state penitentiary. So, yeah, a lot of them are from Florida. Yeah. Although one of them is from Portland, Oregon, and one of them is from New Jersey. And one is from Turkey, overseas. Yeah, that guy down the bottom here. Yeah, Snottily. He does look a little alien-like. Rico, yeah, Rico, or whatever you want to call it. No. This is the second one. Yeah, a lot of them from Florida. They're saying here, they said here that an undercover agent found the website that led them to uncover 1 million videos depicting CSAM, some as young as infants. Oh my God. They said furthermore, they determined that the main site had been shut down now that Mehmet owned. So they're still looking for him. They said if Mehmet is found by law enforcement, he will face a lot of charges, which would land him over 400 years in a Florida state prison. Do you think they will actually end up finding that guy from Turkey? I'm going to guess probably not. He's probably going to go on the run in overseas. Unless he stepped foot in America, they may not find him unless they get Interpol involved. Good night, April B. Good night. The FBI, maybe. Yeah. All right. We're going to wrap it up. It's very late at night. Hey, I love you all very much. We got more coming. We got more things to do, more stories to do. It's going to be a busy couple of weeks. We do have a Honey and Barry thing coming up. I'll let you know in advance when we're going to do it. Yeah, I just want to check here in case anyone sent anything in during the show. Okay. Hey, I love you all very, very much. Thank you for supporting the channel. I appreciate it. Yeah, get ready. We got we'll do one show as well where we'll go from the start of Aaron Patterson all the way to what you can expect during the trial. That'll probably be next week. Next week sometime. I'll let you know about that one in advance as well. Hey, I love you all very much. Have a great night out there. Have a great Wednesday. If you're going to do anything tomorrow, going to head out, do things. If you're in Australia, have a great Thursday tomorrow. And be safe out there after you read out, we read all these stories about people, wives, husbands, weird people like this. The world is a dangerous place. Make sure that you're kept safe and your family is kept safe out there. Good night, everyone. I love you all. Peace out.